Hi guys, I'm Karen and you're welcomed to another video. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That will make me very happy. So let's start, and today I want to share with you my tips, my do and my don'ts for makeup application. So this side of my face will be the do's, this side of my face is going to be the don'ts, and let's get started. Okay, first thing of course is moisturize. Already done that. Okay, so just the makeup application. First thing, primer. On the do, I'm going to use a primer. On the don't, I'm not going to use a primer. Primer is very important. Let's say this one is the Face Studio Primer by Maybelline Anti-Redness Primer. This one helps to reduce the amount of redness that I have on my face. There are a lot of kinds. Many kinds. 1, 2, 3. There are many kinds of primers. Choose the one that suits your needs. Mine is usually to counteract the redness because I suffer from that a lot, and I'm used primer on half of my face. Okay, so this is the side with the primer, which is the do's. Okay, next up is foundation, and I'm using both my Revlon Candid in the shade 220 and my L'Oreal Infallible Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear L'Oreal. This is in the color 235 Honey. So 2 pumps of this one and 2 pumps of that one. I'm going to use my sponge to the do's side because I want to show you the difference between both sides. So I'm applying my foundation to the do's side with the sponge, and I'm tapping it, tapping like so. You see, I'm tapping it. I'll take a bit more, and half of the forehead will be tapped, and half of the nose will be tapped, and jawline, chin, cheeks. Yeah, so half of my face I did with a sponge. The other half, the don'ts, is using my hands. So I'm applying it like I'm applying a moisturizer with my hands. And I don't recommend doing it for a few reasons. First of all, you get all dirty, you have to go and wash your hands. That's one. But this is not the real reason, because you never get a thin coat when you're using your hands. Look what a heavy coat I have, and I have to do a lot of times and repeat until, look at this heavy coat that I have here in comparison to this side here where I have a sheer coat when I use the sponge. When I use my hands, I have a very heavy coat of foundation, and usually you can see the strokes of my hands on my face, which is not flattering. So this is the don't. So don't use a heavy coat and don't use your fingers. Use a light coat and use a sponge. Do and don'ts. Okay, next up, let's just take off the excess from my hand, on the back of my hand. I forgot to bring something to clean it. Okay, and I don't want to ruin my streak, so let's continue. Next up, I'm going to use concealer. So the do's is to put a tiny bit of concealer on the inner corner and outer corner. Now I'm using my L'Oreal Inflammable More Than Concealer concealer in the shade 330, and the Don'ts is using a heavy coat of concealer. So I'm using a heavy coat. I don't remember when was the last time I used a heavy coat of concealer under my eyes. Maybe when I was younger. Okay, and I'm using the tip of my sponge, so I'm going to do the do's first. And I'm taking with my sponge and I am moving the tiny bit of concealer so it will cover lightly my under eye area, like so. So this is the do's. Use, whoa, what is going on here? Look, do you see that? This is from the, I think this is from my eye cream. Let's take some from here. I use my eye cream, which is the Dermalogica one, which doesn't really like makeup. Okay, so I forgot about that. And now I have a patch here. Whoa, look at that. You see that here? A patch. Yeah, I have to put more concealer. And this is just because of the eye cream. This is the Dermalogica eye cream. I think Eye Care. It has a 15 SPF and it doesn't really go well with makeup application. Look, it doesn't help. I put on another coat of concealer and still no go. Okay, we need to put some more foundation. And here, cover it, I hope. Okay, that is better, I think. No, not better. From that side it was better. When I looked here it looked better, but when I'm moving my head I can still see it. This is disastrous and it's getting worse by the minute. So you see that not everything goes smoothly, even when I'm doing the do's, and it has nothing to do with the technique. It has everything to do with my eye cream, which is not good for makeup application. And I will write down in the description the name of the eye cream so you will know from what to avoid, and nothing that I'm doing is helping, so I'll just leave it like that. And this is the side where I put too much concealer and I'm just tapping it. Okay, now you can see the foundation is in my thin lines. I hope you can see it. Also here you can see my eye cream is causing me a headache. I hate using this eye cream. When I put on foundation or concealer, it is a nightmare. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Now you won't see much of a difference, but by the end of the video you will see a difference in the concealer. So this eye I put too much concealer, in this eye I took a tiny bit of concealer, and you can see the difference. This eye looks puffier than this eye here, and well, you don't see it yet, but it will sink in the fine lines. We will check it out later on. Stop powder, and I'm using my Essence Mattifying Compact Powder, and I'm taking a tiny bit like so and tapping off the excess. This is on the do, and I'm tapping it like so. And on the other side I won't tap the excess. I'm taking too much and I'm applying it like so. Too much powder will sink in the fine lines, and we will see it later on. Now it's impossible to see, so I'm going to take my huge brush and just a tiny bit on this side, tiny bit of powder, and a lot more on the other side. So don't use a lot of powder. Too much powder gives you this cakiness, this heaviness, and I don't recommend it at all. So this is the side with less powder, less foundation, less concealer. This side has a lot of concealer, a lot of foundation, and a lot of powder. Okay, next up I'm going to do my my eyebrows, sorry. And I'm just brushing my eyebrows on both sides. Okay, on the do, I'm going to do the tip of the eyebrow in the same line. Okay, so I'm going to continue the line of the eyebrow. Of course, I'm filling in at the beginning, but the end I'm going to continue in the same line, like so. I'm not crossing over too much. This is the end of my eyebrow. On the don'ts, I'm going to extend the eyebrow even further, and I'm taking it downwards. Look at the difference. It makes a huge difference just with the brow application. Look at this side versus this side. Here I extended it more than the original length of the brow, and here I didn't do that and I kept it in a straight line. So this is the difference with the brow. And I used, forgot to say, my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. Next up I have this primer for the lid. This is the eyeshadow primer. This is by Wet n Wild. Okay, on the do side I'm going to put this primer all over the lid, including this section here under the brow. This is on the do side. And on the don'ts, I'm going to apply it only on my lid, and you will see in a minute the difference it makes. Okay, so I'm going to powder. Do's is going to get some powder, and I'm tapping off the excess and putting powder all over the lid. And I'm not going to do the same on the don't side. So the don't side doesn't get powder on the lid. So it's important to powder your lid after you put the eyeshadow primer. Next up are eyes, and I'm using the Game Changer by AWB Makeup. These are the shades. You have 15 shades in here, and I'm going to use this one, Bit Down, for the crease. Now the do is to put, especially when you have hooded eyes, to put the transition shade above the crease. So I'm putting this above the crease and not directly in the crease. So this is the do. Okay, and the don'ts, I'm taking the same shade, Beat Down, and I'm applying it directly in the crease. And this side doesn't have a powder on the primer. And you can see immediately the difference when this one lifts the eye and this one doesn't. It looks dropped. So these tips are good for hooded eyes as well. Next up, I'm going to take this color. This is called Snatched, this one here, a dark shade, and I'm going to use it in my outer corner, tapping off the excess in my outer corner, and I'm going to use it in a upwards position, like so, upwards. Okay, and tapping off the excess. There is no excess in this case, so I'm just putting the dark side in the inner corner of my eye, and this is the dews. And beside that, I'm putting it in the outer corner, I'm also applying it upwards, like so. Okay, and by doing that, I'm creating a shape to the eye. Next, I'm going to take the same shade and I'm blending it downwards, like so. I'm putting it also in the inner corner and I'm blending it downwards. And you can see immediately that it takes down the eye. Look at this color here, and look at the shape of the eye here and the shape of the eye here. Here I took it upwards and here I took it downwards, and it makes such a huge difference. Okay, next up I'm going to do the inner corner with a light shade, and I'm taking Lit, which is this color here. Okay, don't be afraid of shimmers, and apply it on the inner corner of your eye, like so. What a beautiful color. I'm in love with this color. This is my most used color in this palette. I'm afraid that I'm going to hit pan soon with this color. I don't like that. And the problem is that you can't buy them individually, so I don't know what I will do when I will hit pan. Next up, I'm not going to do this side yet. I want to show you the dew here first. So I'm taking the same color, Snatched, and I'm putting it in the outer corner of my lower lash line, like so. Also in an upwards position towards the inner corner, the outer corner of my eye, and I'm taking the Lit color that I have and I'm using it in the inner corner of my lower lash line. So I'm copying what I did in the upper lash line to the lower lash line, like so. Now, what is the don'ts here? Okay, so the don'ts is don't use a dark color all over your lid. So I'm going to take this color here, which is on fleek. This is a shimmery dark brown, and I'm going to apply it. This one has fallout, so I'm going to apply it all over the lid. So it's also a shimmer, but this is a dark shade shimmer, like so. And you can see the difference it makes here, the dew, and here the don'ts. This one with the light color brightens my eye. This one makes my lid looks downwards. Taking the dark shade, this one was called HG, and I'm applying it all over the lower lash line, like so. Now look at the difference in my eyes. This one looks shut, this one looks opened. This makes a huge difference. Okay, next up is shimmer, and I'm going to take my highlighter. This is my highlighter. This is called Beautiful in Bali by BH Cosmetics. And I'm going to take this light color, this is Glitch, and I'm going to apply it on my brow bone on the do side. And if you can see, I'm applying it only on this side of my brow bone, only in this section here. Same color, wrong application is all over the brow. Here I put it only on the bone. Here I put it all over. And you can see the difference that it makes. And on this side I'm going to put it in the inner corner, the shimmer in the inner corner, and I'm not going to do the same on the other side. I'm not going to put anything in the inner corner. And you can definitely see the difference in my eyes. This is the don'ts, this is the do's, and when they are together you can see a very, very big difference. It's like I'm two different people. Okay, let's continue. And now it's time for mascara. So I'm applying my mascara as I usually do. It's nothing new, but on the do side I'm going to put on my lower lashes, and on the don'ts I'm not going to put on the lower lashes. So I'm using my Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect mascara, and I'll put them on and I'll be right back. I'm back with mascara. This is the side where I put mascara on the lower lashes and on the upper lashes, and here I put only on the upper lashes. Now, because there is a dark color here, it doesn't make a difference if you put mascara on the lower lash line, but here, because there is a light color, it makes a lot of difference. Next up, bronzer, and I'm using my Kiko bronzer in the Green Me 102 Warm Sienna. This is my bronzer, and I'm taking my bronzer brush and I'm bronzing as usual. I'm going to bronze my face like so in the outer perimeter of my face on the do sides. Okay, on the don'ts I'm not going to do that. I'll put only here. It doesn't make a lot of difference, but it makes some difference, especially when you're going out to the sun. And here on this do side I'm going to put the bronzer on my jawline as well. And we see a difference. Well, I don't know, do you see a difference? Yep, this one is a bit more carved and this one is not. So bronzer also can make a difference. Top blush and highlighter, and I'm using again my Beautiful in Bali by BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to take this color to the right side and I'm applying it like so, following the direction of my bronzer, and on the don't side. Now I'm not going to exaggerate with blush because I know that you know that it's not good to exaggerate with blush. So on the don't side I'm going to put only on the apples, and I'm going to take the dark shade, which is the pomegranate, and I used lychee here, and I'm going to apply it to the apples of my cheeks. And well, it's visible. I put too much. So don't put a lot of blush, and don't put it only on the cheeks. So I'm going to take the same color, I'm going to do it on the do side, and you can see the difference. Okay, so I use the same color, the pomegranate, on the do as well, so you can see the difference. Other thing that I did is I didn't take off the excess when I put on the pomegranate blush on the wrong side, so I get a big stain of blush. Okay, but I don't like it a lot. I need to try to correct it, and when I'm trying to correct it, it is getting even worse. So even if you're taking the pomegranate on both sides, tap off the excess on the back of your hand and use it like so, in the same direction that you put on your bronzer. Don't put it only on the cheeks, on the apples of the cheeks, however you want to call them. Now for the highlighter, you choose a color that is right for you. Okay, I have here 3 colors. There's a pearl, and there was a gold, but here you have here a little of the gold and a dark bronze. So my color is this color here, the gold one, and I'm applying it lightly to the correct side, do side. And I'm going to take the dark one, which is amber, and I'm going to apply it on the don't side. So you can hardly see it, it's too dark, so you don't see the effect of the highlight like you see here. Okay, so choose the right color of your highlighter. Okay, next up is lipstick. And for lipstick I do have a do and a don'ts. On the do, I recommend using a light color. Okay, so I have here both from Essence, both in the same series. These are the Velvet Matte Lipstick. This is the shade 06, this is 03. These two, this is very dark, dark burgundy color. And this is light. Look at the difference in colors. Okay, so I'm going to take the 03 and use it on the correct on the do, like so. And I'm going to take the darker shade I deliberately chose different tones because I wanted to show you the difference. If I took the same tone, you won't be able to see the difference. This is the final look, the don'ts and the do's. So this is the do's side, and I have here a primer, a light coat of foundation, a light coat of concealer. I'll just zoom you into my eyes in a second. A light coat of concealer. I have here, the most important thing is the eyes. If you have hooded eyes, you must follow the do's and don't follow the don'ts. The do's mean put your deep color in the outer corner and apply it upwards, and put a light shade, even a shimmer, in the inner corner of your lid. Okay, and do the same in the lower lash line, and apply mascara on both upper and lower lashes. On the don'ts, okay, I have the dark shade in the outer corner, but I took it downwards. It's taking my eye down. And in the inner corner I put on a shimmer, but I put a dark shade of shimmer, which makes everything look very dark. And I put here a dark shade of eyeshadow sorry, a dark shade of eyeshadow here on the bottom. So you can see the difference here. I put on the shimmer only on the brow bone and in the inner corner. Here I didn't put in the inner corner, and I put it all over the section below the brow. And with this blush, with a bronzer, well, bronzer doesn't make much of a difference, but with the blush here I used it all over the face like the bronzer, and here I put it only on the apples, which makes a huge difference. The highlighter, I took a darker shade, you can hardly see it. I took the correct shade and you can see it in the lipstick. Okay, this side makes me look older, this side makes me look younger. So these are the differences, and I want to show you up and close my under eye area with the concealer. So you can see here, let's wait for it to settle, zoom, yeah. You can see that the concealer didn't sink into the fine lines under my eyes. Well, it sank, but a tiny bit. And here it looks disastrous. It's like, oh my god, it looks awful. Everything is in the creases. Okay, now they're not perfect because I do have creases under my eyes, but the difference is visible, I think, at least. Okay, so let me know in the comment section down below which tip from all the tips that I gave you right now you're going to apply. Don't forget about the brows as well. Look at the difference here. I feel here the brow, and I extended it above the end of my original brow, and I took it downwards. Here I took it in a straight line and only until the end of the real brow. I didn't extend it, and it makes a huge difference. But well, look at the difference in the eyes. Okay, here I look tired. It looks like I didn't sleep for ages. Here I look wide awake. That makes a whole lot of difference. Okay, I enjoyed making this video for you, and if you enjoyed it as well, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Bye.